Hi, Lisa Christensen here with Watercolor Cards, and I wanted to share with you how I paint this card in regular watercolor paint, and on the way I will give you some tips and tricks on how to make your card perfect. I stamped this panel out from the Anita Jerum's Christmas line from Colorado Craft Company, and it was called the Teamwork, which is so cute. I just love this stamp. I just made this one. You can see that tutorial, and now we're on to the watercolor card, the watercolor portion of it, and you can kind of already see my palette. I got some nice things happening with my watercolor. I am going to spray my watercolor down a little bit more with my spray bottle, which is almost empty, so that's always fun. But let's get started. I absolutely adore the stamp set. You can get the stamp set over at Colorado Craft Company. They have some beautiful watercolor, or they have some beautiful stamps perfect for watercoloring, and that's what I love. Okay, so for this sky and the snow is just gonna be like a light blue, and I'm actually gonna, I'm just kind of going all over, and that's okay because everything else is going to be darker. And it's okay that my paper is buckling. I know a lot of artists don't like that. I don't seem to mind it. I like to move my paper around a lot. If it bugs you a whole lot, I just sprayed it down, and now I'm letting it sit on, and that'll be fine. And now my whole paper is wet. So this is more of a wet onto wet technique, but it won't matter because it's going to be a light wash anyways. So with that in mind, I'm going to take some cerulean blue, and I already have actually some of this ultramarine and probably some indigo, but it's just a blue mixture. You just want a blue mixture. And I'm going to start at the top over here, and it's a kind of a wet into wet technique. I can even go over my snowman's hat. I could probably go into the bird. I'm going to try and not do that. I just want a really loose wash. It's very wet. That's okay. I can go into the snowman. I can go into the snow. I can almost go into the dog. I am going to add a little bit of this blue to the snowman. I'm going to go over here. And now I'm running out of water. And I'm just going to kind of let that do its thing. Okay, and it's going to get some granulation. I love watercolor for the granulation. I'm going to clean up my lines right here. You can see it's very blue. That's alright. And then because I don't have a staining pigment, cerulean and ultramarine are both non-staining, I can pick it up and it's just fine. And I just want a little bit of blue shading. We're going to go back in just a second and add a little bit more depth to the background and get the background pretty much out of the way. The last card I did with the ink is I went in after and built it up, but I think that I can build it up right here. And it's already wet, so I say let's use the wet into wet technique as much as possible. Okay. I'm gonna get some more of that cerulean and ultramarine. I'm just kind of making it happen. Make it happen. I have a plan and I'm making it happen. I'm just trying to build up the snowman so it looks like the snowman is in the front and the background's way in the back. The sky is off in the distance. And then I'm actually going to have to add a little bit of purple. Wasn't sure if I was going to need some purple, but I think a tad bit of purple will go a long way here, and that will just make it look even like you know what we're doing. because the snow is white and it's the same color as the sky, so we got to do something. So I'm just gonna just lightly add a little bit of purple. There's a tiny bit of purple, and we're just gonna dab it in right here, just so we can definitely tell that this is snow and this is sky, and that's gonna add a bit more depth to the picture as well. I'm gonna put some purple right there. Okay, now I'm gonna let that dry. Looks pretty good. There's a couple places I see, like this blue right here. I don't want a hard edge. I'm fine that there's some blue right there. I just don't need it to be a hard edge at the moment. Okay, now the hardest part is letting it dry. And there's not, we can start over here and work a little bit. It'll be interesting. So this is, now we got decisions to make. I want the cat to be pretty yellow. I'm going to do a yellow ochre for the cat. And yellow ochre is like a beautiful warm yellow. But I don't want it to be strictly yellow ochre, so I already have this like brownish mixture. I'm just going to add my yellow ochre into this brownish mixture right there. And that might be too much on my brush. I really like this watercolor paper because it holds really well for washes. I got confused on where the tail was, so I'm going to clean that up. Yellow ochre is usually not staining, so I like to use yellow ochre when at all possible, because I know it won't stain and I can lift it up if I make a mistake. Alright, I think it needs a little bit of brown, like orange into this brown mixture. I think that's going to make it look more like a calico. Yeah, I like that. Just on one side maybe. Yeah, that works. That looks really quite lovely, I think. That's going to look nice. Okay, and then let's work on the bunny. I feel like the bunny is kind of like this grayish, blackish color, so I have this neutral tint and burnt umber feel. Like it looks really dark. I'm going to add some more of this brown. Maybe a little bit more brown. More brown than dark, I think. And actually I'm going to go in with my yellow ochre and just make it even more less. More of a darker neutral brown that's a little bit yellow. And then we're going to do that with the bunny rabbit. Our bunny rabbits are kind of like this grayish brown color. And so, I don't know, maybe your bunny rabbits are more like light gray than brown. But we I think it depends on what they eat, you know, and their color. And so this brown is actually getting into this blue, which can make for a fun effect. I don't know if that's the effect I'm going with. So we're just gonna, we're rolling with it for now because there's not much I can do. But I can wait and go back with a brush and clean it up later, which is what I'm gonna have to do. But for now, it's okay. Alright, let's go move on to the dog. The dog is like a golden retriever, so we're just going to do strictly yellow ochre with a tad bit of prick from that kitty cat, just to make it a little bit more brown. Not a whole lot of brown, but we're getting this color theory happening, and I really like blues next to oranges, so that's why I went with like a lighter-ish color. And again, it's just a flat wash. Super cute. Oh, we're gonna move that watercolor up, and we still gotta paint those ears. Super duper cute ears. All right, we're gonna leave that alone, let that dry. What I could do is add some of this brown, this really pretty burnt umber brown, but I'm pretty sure I'm out. I have this little like bit, but I'm just going to add it a little bit and move it around a tad. There, that is so darling. And once it dries, I'm going to make this spot darker and the tail a little bit darker. Okay, moving on. Let's do the bird. The bird is going to be like this Indian yellow, reddish color. Ooh, look at that. It's so pretty. I love Indian red. And it's also going to be the same color as the snowman's scarf. But a little dab will do ya. Okay, let's work on the birdie bird. Tweak, tweaked. So this is like Indian red, and then I'll go back in with a lighter red. I don't know yet I might just use a different tone. There's the snowman's scarf. Oops, I forgot the bird is actually trying to put the scarf on the snowman, which I think is just so sweet. Oh, so fun. I'm just adding pigment where I think it needs to go, and then I can go back in and just kind of blend it a little bit more so it's one big happy shape. And then I'm going to come back in and just add a little bit on this side, and it's just going to blend in with the scarf. It's going to look quite lovely, I think. And now I'm going to take this cool red. I had a very neutral red. I just want a cool red right underneath where the bird is. And it probably won't matter too much. You're probably not going to notice, but I will notice because I'm the one that painted it. And then the extra will just go right here. And then what I could do is just take some more of that red that the Indian red, and just add a little bit more. And again, no one's really probably going to notice but you'll notice, and you will say, oh, that is one lovely bird. Hopefully. Anyways. Alright. This is like a dry brush. Very thick pigment, not a lot of, well, I say it's thick, it's actually pretty watery. I didn't do that right. Oh, there we go. Thick like butter thick. See how thick that is? And then I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm just going to smooth that out. I don't want it to be thick all around. I love watercoloring these. Alright, now we can get the brown. Now I don't like regular brown. Like, never ever do I just take burnt umber and stick it on the page. That is like not a thing I ever do. So, but what I will do is I will take this brown and whatever weird mixture I have, usually with blue, I just make like a brown blue mix. And of course I want it to be more brown than blue, but I definitely don't want to do just brown. And just to show you, isn't that a pretty brown? Way more depth to that than this regular burnt umber brown. See the difference? This one looks a bunch more natural. And I already used ultramarine. All the colors, all the blues that I used is in this brown, so it gives it some nice color harmony. Alright, so I'm going to mix, I'm going to get a big bunch of it, and then I'm going to dab it on my towel. So then I don't have much water, but I still have the thickness of the pigment. And I'm going to do my little guys. Now, if you are to the point where I'm at, where this is just going to be a hot mess, maybe wait. I do love this brush because I can get fine lines and I can get a lot of thick lines. It's just a perfect little match. I just need my paint to be thicker. Less water. Okay. And now I'm going to go straight into my indigo, which is right here. And wherever my neutral tin is, like on the palette, just find a spot where there's a dark neutral color. Just add that indigo to that neutral color and you'll get a nice looking black. Now this should be very black. And that is. And this should also be pretty black. And that is. And then what I like to do, just going to, and then I'm going to clean my brush and I'm just going to add, and with the dry brush I'm just going to move this color in so it looks like it's watercolored. And I have the same problem like I did when I was doing my demos. The black got into the red. But if you're a patient, you can just wipe it up. You kind of see on this one. Oh well, that's okay. It'll dry pretty good like that. And then I gotta do the same thing to this top of the snowman. And this is a very dry brush. There we go. Now because I had no color theory, I can get away with using indigo because I know that indigo mixed with a whole bunch of other colors will make black. There. Oh my gosh. And we're about done with this. Isn't that gorgeous? Now I could add some more of this blue. In fact, I think I will. But I'm going to clean up my blue mess. It's looking kind of dirty and yucky, so let's get some clean blue. This is manganese blue that I also like to use for clouds, but not today. Now I do see this is like a puddle of messiness right here, so I'm just going to soak it up. I don't know why there's so much water right here, but there is, and I don't really want a whole lot of water right there. I don't want to bloom. I don't want none of that. So I'm going to get rid of that. That looks okay. I can always do something with it later. It really doesn't look too bad. I'm going to leave it. Sometimes with watercolor you just got to leave it. Alright, I see a couple places where I need fixed. I am going to take some of that indigo blue and that brown, that burnt umber brown, and we're just going to do a spot right here. There, oh, super cute. And maybe just a tad bit right here, and right here, and just right here. Now I'm going to dry my brush off, and I'm going to lightly get rid of those lines. I want it to be a shadow. I don't want it to be a I don't want it to be a line. There, that looks good. I like that. Now the doggy's face needs just a tad bit of something. So we'll put it right here. We'll just kind of shape form it right there. And then just kind of shade it out. There we go. That works. And I see another black coal that I forgot. So we're just gonna dab a little bit right here. Looking good. Oh, that darn cat's paw. I always seem to forget it. There, that works. And now we just need the nose, and I think we're good. For the orange, I just use transparent orange, and I'm straight from the tube, straight from the palette. It is like bright orange, and I love it. It does not have to be bright orange. You could have dulled it down with some cerulean. I didn't want to do that. Alright. That is pretty dry. I'm going to go back in with my red. And this just looks kind of like it needs a little bit of, like, it needs to just pop a little bit more. And I think I'm going to call it good. I'm afraid that if I mess with it too much more, it's not going to look the way I want it to. But there we go. How cute is that? I love using pigment. I also love using like a color palette. So the colors that I used was burnt umber, natural tint, indigo, cerulean, and ultramarine. I used some transparent orange for the nose. And then I use Indian red for the scarves and the hats and the bird. And then a little tad bit of cool red. And for this one it was alizarin crimson. However, you don't need, I don't think you need it for the bird. I just used it for the bird to give it some extra depth. So anyways, there you have it. What a beautiful card. And it's all done. And I forgot one more finishing touch. This doggy needs to be part of the group, so he's getting a little red collar right here. It's probably going to look more orange, but that's okay. I'm not looking for a perfect red. I'm just, again, keeping the color harmony happening. There we go. Now we're done. Now it's perfect. I can send it to a nice friend of mine who loves dogs and animals, and how cute is that? What a fun card to make. Again, Colorado Craft Company, and it's a wonderful company. I thoroughly enjoy it, and we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy painting.